Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing this, the CRKT CEO. This is a gentleman style knife, very nice textured sort of plasticky handle, very deep carry clip, very thin profile, and running on bearings with a nice, well, basically 3.5-inch blade. So let's start with the things that we like here. So first thing is, this is probably the least expensive, like true, what I would call gentleman style knife on the market. This thing costs less than $40. It's very, very thin, very, very low profile. Nobody's ever going to notice this is even in your pocket, and it's fantastic at $40. I have other gentlemanly kind of knives, but they cost a lot more. Some other stuff that disappears in the pocket, like your Booze Blades Hound here, very thin, very disappear in the pocket kind of knife. But at the same time, this thing costs 5 times what this does. So that's great. This is excellent value in that regard. I also really like the aesthetics. This is a Richard Rogers design. You can see that maybe up here somewhere. Refocus camera? I don't know. Rogers design. Anyway, and it's a fantastic design. It's very elegant, it's slim, it's I actually think quite good looking, and I really like that. I actually like the visible steel liners here because they accentuate the looks of this knife. And the almost pommel down here, which kind of, looks like the end of a pen, because I think honestly that's what this is supposed to be most reminiscent of. And it doesn't look cheap, even though it actually is. And so that's nice. I really like how this hides super well in your pocket. It does ride really deeply. Just a teeny bit of the top here sticks up at the end. And you're never going to see that in a pocket. You're not going to think, oh God, look, knife. No, it doesn't look that way. This looks like a pen, and that's what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like a nice office pen, like an executive style pen, hence CEO. So despite the fact that it's what I would call kind of toothpicky, you'll notice it's very, very thin. It's still not bad in your hand. I get a little hot spotting here and there, but honestly, not too bad for something that's this thin. And there's, you don't really feel like you're sliding off of it too much. I wish there was maybe just a teeny bit of some like light jimping here for a little bit of extra thumb support. But for the most part, this actually feels pretty good in hand despite its ultra thin appearance. The action is also stellar. I mean, this thing fires. When it comes out, you honestly, it feels like it's an automatic firing. And it's because it is running on bearings. And the way the detent works, it actually fires hard. This thing is really, really a fantastic knife. It's really hard to fail to flip this knife out. You can do it if you stick your fingers in the exact right spot at the exact wrong time. You can bump this thing back, but honestly, that's really hard to do. This thing fires awesome, and I love that. Blade here, 8CR13 MOV. We'll talk about that later. But for right now, let's talk about how thin this thing is behind the edge. Sorry for some of that pocket debris there, but I have been carrying this thing a lot. Let's see. So what we've got here is a pretty thin behind the edge knife, despite the fact that it's not very tall, so the flat grind on it can't be very tall, but it doesn't really matter because this thing starts with such thin blade stock. Here you can see, against another knife that has pretty decently thin blade stock, your Benchmade bug out, this thing is substantially thinner than the bug out. And so it actually works really well for cutting because it's really thin, so it's pretty thin behind the edge. So I really like that. The blade is pretty slicey, despite the fact that it's not very large. So let's talk about some things that I'm not a huge fan of. While the pocket clip does ride pretty deeply, and the screws are actually recessed, they made the clip feel nice and small. It looks like kind of like a pen clip, but then they put this stupid CRKT logo on it. You get rid of the logo, which honestly, after I film this review, I'm probably going to do, because I do like this knife. I'm going to take that CRKT right off with like some sort of abrasive, because this thing begs for a pocket clip that doesn't have billboarding on it. This is a gentleman's knife. You don't see CRKT or other pen company logos on the outside of a pen on a pen clip. So for me, I think the logo here is unnecessary, and it would look a whole lot better without it. Other things. So yes, the steel here is an issue. It's 8CR13 MOV, which is truly a complete budget steel. It was pretty clear that was chosen to keep the costs down, but just isn't impressive on a knife named the Chief Executive Officer. How many CEOs do you know that couldn't afford a little bit more than $40 for a knife? I mean, yes, I know there is a Blade HQ exclusive of this that it's $60 and it's got that green micarta handles instead of the black plastic. And it's got D2 steel, but even D2 is not that impressive. I really hope that what they do for this is the same thing they did with the Homefront, where they make a nice, like, titanium version with M390, or they could even make a carbon fiber version, like a real carbon fiber version with M390, or any other steel that's like a higher end steel. I think that would sell like hotcakes, because frankly, this design is fantastic. So let's hope. Fingers crossed. Or something, I don't know. And the scales here are just a little bit slippery. That's the last thing here. You know, I think it's made so they slide in and out of the pocket pretty easily. It doesn't do a lot of damage to like a suit pocket or a jacket pocket or whatever you're putting it in. But it does make opening the knife a little bit tricky, because sometimes you do slide a little bit while you're trying to put your fingers here, and the last thing you want is to slide off your knife while you're opening it. So that, for me, that's it. Those are the things that I'm not like super fond of, but aren't like the biggest deal. Things that are a bigger deal. The liner lock here is a bit difficult to get to. I basically have to just shove my thumb down there and just hope I actuate it, because my fingers don't fit in here, and I don't have the biggest hands in the world. I mean, I've got a decent sized hand, you can see probably, but you know, they're not tiny, but they're not huge. And I struggle to hit this liner lock every time, and it's not comfortable. I don't know what they could do with this super slim profile and its design to make that different, but I don't like it, and you know, that's just how it is. But the biggest reason I don't carry this knife very often, the biggest complaint I have with it, is the pocket clip. What don't I like about it? Well, it's tip down only. Left side, tip down only. So, I know why they've done this. It's because this is designed to ride in a shirt pocket, and then you grab it like this and pull it out, and your hand is already there for that. Okay, fine. But I don't wear a shirt pocket all the time. In fact, I almost never have a shirt pocket. But sometimes I do want a subtler, more slim carry knife, and this would fit that bill perfectly if I could carry it like this. Why won't it just carry like this? Just give me that option. And for me, that's the biggest thing I don't like here, is that there's no way to do a tip up carry. It's all tip down, left side. It's not reversible. And I don't know about you guys, but I have to carry my knives right side, tip up. At least, you know, primary knives. So for me, that's where I stand there. It would be a better EDC option for me if I could do that. So my final verdict, and, you know, would I recommend this knife to somebody? Yeah, probably. I would recommend this. I actually really like this. It's cheap, so fantastic. You can carry it almost anywhere, and nobody's going to really know. The only issue I would say, the only thing that would stop me from recommending this to everybody, is it's not a hard-use knife. This is not the kind of thing I would say, take this to your job site, where you're going to be cutting open bags of concrete or, you know, digging stuff out of dirt. This is not that. This is not that knife. This is an office knife. This is for carrying in your pocket in the office. And so, for me, that's where I stand here. Sorry about that loud noise from the, I think, motorcycle. Anyway, you could carry this in church. You could carry this in a discreet way in an office. Obviously, you wouldn't carry this anywhere it was illegal, but you could carry it anywhere or maybe having a big, gigantic fixed blade or gigantic folding knife is not really the best, most ideal item. So that's what this knife is. It's a great knife. It's a great knife for discreetly carrying, but it's not a great knife for everybody. So I say buy one if you ever have the need for a knife in a more discreet manner, but if you don't, you can probably pass. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. There will be more to come from this COVID-19 lockdown. It's a little slowing things down a little bit, but we're still getting them. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.